Hello, 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 everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I am so excited because I just had a key moment, literally a key moment. I don't know if y'all see that if you're watching me. Two little keys. And I don't know if you ever had this experience, as I was saying, like looking for something for a month and not finding it. And then when you finally find it, although you have given up on looking for it and you find it somewhere else when you was looking for something else, oh my gosh, it's just like Christmas, although I don't celebrate Christmas, but it's just like Christmas. Just leave it at that. All right, let's get the things started. The show starts.
Welcome to the GBA podcast, where guilty by association meets gritty, blissful ambiguity.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the place where guilty by association meets gritty, blissful ambiguity. Yes, it's time for another dose of the GBA podcast. I am your hostess, Rain, and I would love for all of y'all to find us on all streaming platforms and find us on YouTube, find us on social media. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do all the good stuff that people need to do in order to support, right? So, and without further ado, let's get into this week's topics. And I have a few. Yeah, I got a few topics. And the first topic is cannabis. So the cannabis industry obviously is a multi-million, if not billion industry. And even more so since medical marijuana is allowed, or marijuana is legalized in many other countries. And contrary popular belief, because I did think so too, that the Netherlands were the first country where marijuana was legalized, but it's actually not like that. It was Uruguay. So far, 40 countries have legalized the weed, medical, and over the counter. And what I find very interesting, I just came across this article this week, and then I did some more research and I found a video. And so since weed was legalized medically, there, so I was wondering, like, I mean, I don't really know. I just know one person who got it prescribed, and everybody else is finding it another way or in other ways. So, and what I find very interesting is that the whole procedure apparently is not so simple to prescribe marijuana, because you have to go through so many tests, and then they have to make sure that they, like, write everything down, protocolize everything, but also if you don't respond to whatever condition you have, if you don't respond to other medications, that's when they're allowed to prescribe marijuana. And we know marijuana has definite healing powers. Like people with Tourette do very well with it. People with epilepsy, any type MS, like muscle spasms, nausea from chemotherapy when people have cancer. There's so many things that it actually helps with, and we should be grateful that it is medicated, but they also want to make sure that they have obviously a clean product, and from what I know is, obviously, if you get it from the pharmacy, is way more safe than getting it from somewhere else. I mean, you have all the dispensaries in the US. I get that. That is also very fine. Just know where you get your stuff from at all times. And that is not only pertaining to weed, just like generally. And what I found interesting is, so in the UK, approximately 20,000 people are on prescription, but only 5 people get reimbursed for it by the HNS. Is it called HNS? NHS. Oh gosh, me and these names, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Hilarious. But So I just thought it was really interesting that only 5 people are getting it. There must be really, really special people. I don't know. And so in Germany, allegedly 128K people get prescription. Wow. I didn't and they get then reimbursed 60% of cost by the health insurance, and the rest they have to figure out themselves. Yeah, that's what's up. And but I went back a little bit in history because I wanted to know, okay, so when was actually cannabis really discovered? And it said that it was recorded on the eastern Tibetan plateau a long, long time ago, and was grown by farmers for oil and fiber to make robes, papers, and other useful material with it. And it was consumed about 2,500 years ago, as in West China, where they boiled the leaves and had some tea. Yes. And I mean, obviously, by now we have edibles, we have teas, we have everything. And just be careful and make sure that you consume the right thing. And it's really interesting how many people self-medicate. The numbers are extremely high, and they're looking to legalize it in so many more countries in the near future. And let's see how that goes. I mean, the Netherlands, they thought, oh my God, everybody's going to be addicted, and, and everybody is going to be on it like 24/7. And maybe they are, who knows? But the country is still functioning. So yeah, I thought that was actually very interesting. And the next story I want to bring to y'all is a story that probably a lot of y'all heard already. And if not, it's a story that's been circulating for a month now, or a little bit over a month. And I really didn't want to talk about it because A, it triggers me, and B, I wanted to wait a little bit longer. I get it. Like, people want to report on everything that's happening like right away. But I feel like sometimes if you wait a little bit to get some more details on where the story is going, you actually have a way more to report. Like it just makes more sense. And I'm talking about the 10-year-old Sarah Sharif, who was found in Surrey, UK, dead in her dad's and stepmother's house. And boy, what can I say? Her body was totally abused, bruises, battered, everything, the worst. Only though that her dad, her stepmother, and her uncle left the country a day before her body was found in their deserted house in Surrey. They left to Pakistan. And then obviously this whole manhunt started, and they wanted to know what happened with Sarah. Obviously the mother, she says that she's haunted by the body, which I totally understand. I feel like no mother should have to ever see her child, no matter what age, but even so worse, a kid that couldn't even defend itself and help itself. It's very, very, very uncomfortable for me to talk about it, let alone how family and friends feel and everybody in their circle. It does have a huge effect on people if such deadly crime happens. And these people ran off to Pakistan, and the UK collaborated with the Pakistani police, which was really good because they let them know that her other 5 siblings are in Pakistan as well. They are with the authorities now. The government is taking care of them. And that is also another thing. I mean, gladly, even in countries development countries, third world countries, whatever, non-Western countries, whatever you want to call them, because everything these days is an abuse, is an offense, is an insult. So I'm trying to tread very carefully around this, although I don't want to, because I feel like this is a non-Western country and it's not a full-blown developed country, because I don't know. Anywho, so these kids are with the government, and I hope that they're really cared for and well taken care of. And I don't really know if they are like just half siblings or full-blown siblings, like who their full parents are. I don't know if they're really with the stepmom, because I mean, I don't know. I really don't have no idea. But right now they're in Pakistan, and Wednesday night, the dad Irfan Sharif, the stepmother Benaj, and the uncle Faisal, they took a plane to the UK with a layover in Dubai. They arrived at Gatwick Airport. Police convoys were there. 15 policemen entered the plane, and these people were taken off the plane in handcuffs. Allegedly, they just came back because they released the video last week. The dad didn't say anything. The stepmom did all the talking, that they want to collaborate with the UK authorities, which obviously they're doing now because they're coming back. I don't know where this is going, because apart from the fact that it's absolutely suspicious that you just leave a 10-year-old bruised and battered dead girl in your house, you desert your house and you run off to Pakistan, that is not a good thing. But apart from that fact, what does it say about a human being, let alone 3 human beings, to do something like that? Let's say they didn't even unalive her. Let's say it wasn't them. But just the fact that they ran off, it's beyond insane. And saying that they didn't want to be suspected or whatever. This is crazy, especially for the dad. This is your child. How are you just like abandoning your child, whatever you did to it or not, or didn't do to it? But what is this? Like, what is going on in your head? And then you have 2 other people. You have the stepmom and you have the uncle. You would think that at least one of 3 people would have a little bit of a conscience or a little bit of a heart or brain to say, hey, you know what, we can't do this. Or y'all want to go, I'm not going. I'm going to report this, or I'm going to talk to somebody, I'm going to seek help, whatever it may be. I just don't understand how you are able, like, basically, really and truly what it is F her, I'm off. I value my life too much to go to. I mean, I don't know if they did something to her, if they unalived her, somebody else did it. And quite frankly, it doesn't actually matter who did it. Of course, it's worse when the parents and family members doing it. But at the end of the day, that doesn't bring the girl back. And these people just acted like the biggest pieces of ish ever. Like, just scumbags. And just for that, they should go to jail. Just for that. And let's see what and who did to her. Yeah, this really gets me triggered, and it's absolutely insane to me that this can even, it's inhumane. It's just insane. Seriously, I need to stop talking about it, because yeah. It's also the next story we're talking about. It's really crazy. Like, a couple of people decided to play Prison Break this week. We have Danilo, oh my gosh, okay, Cavalcante, is that his name, from Philadelphia? He ran and he got caught, and he tried to resist hardcore, and they had finally chance, the police and everybody else, to surround him, and he was still resisting, and he had a gun. But yeah, what a crazy story. And also in the UK, Daniel Khalifa also broke out of prison. So he was a chef in the kitchen there. He's a 21-year-old, half Lebanese, half Iranian, former British soldier. And he was arrested the first time in January 2022 because he had illegally accessed some personnel paper from the army, from the military. And the police just let him go because it was not such a big deal. I guess they talked through it and decided, okay, whatever, we're just going to investigate. So they have a year time apparently to investigate. That year was almost up, so they brought him in, and when they did some more digging, they just found that it was not the first time that he accessed paperwork from the army illegally. There were some other paperwork that was obviously giving some thanks away, and could have, and he was trying to offer it for sale to different countries like Iran. And mom is Iranian, that's why people just assumed that he was full-blown Iranian, but he's not. The dad is Lebanese, mom is Iranian. However, oh yeah, and he was not just arrested in January for accessing the personnel paper from the army. He also played like a stupid prank where he made it look like that he had some explosive device, something like that. And now, anyways, what's so interesting about the story is that, so he was serving breakfast. He was finally arrested for the things that he did, and he was in jail. So he was a chef in the kitchen serving breakfast to other inmates, and then he decided to take the opportunity and leave, get out the kitchen, and tie himself under a delivery truck that was outside delivering stuff to the prison. And what came out is that he used bed sheets with some clips at the edges so he can attach it to the lorry, I guess. Which is really interesting, because for me that takes a lot of planning, and I don't know, I mean there are like really good and talented and genius people out there. Like, your body weight could that be carried by these sheets only being attached with some clips? And then, because the lorry, if it drives off, it's not slow, and there are bumps in the way and all kind of things. So yeah, it's really interesting. So the truck, the delivery truck left, and he left obviously with it, being tied to it underneath. And it was going through South London, past some security checkpoints and whatnot, but nobody saw nothing. And then he finally got away, and he was caught like 4 days later. He was arrested and locked up again. He appeared at court. The details of the sheets came out, and so yeah, he was didn't really show much emotion. And now the crazy part, this happened actually before, when another guy in America was arrested years and years and years ago. He actually received over 2,000 fan mail. We're talking about women, young women who proposed to him, expressed their love to him and whatnot. So he said that he'll be away for a while, and he was sorting through the proposals because this is not an easy task. He said he has to make sure that he picks the right one. This is not even funny. It's crazy. And I think that the prison, once they transfer him to a more secure prison, they're gonna be happy not having to deal with all of these issues anymore. Crazy, like seriously crazy. I don't know what people think. Like it, I don't know. It's just really random to me. It would never, ever, ever, ever cross my mind to write somebody in prison that I just saw on the news. I don't care how cute he is, but just, I don't know. This is where people or women may be consider the wrong things or look at the wrong things. And I think this could be really dangerous. It's cute if you like a bad boy, but this is going a little bit too far. Speaking of bad boy, so filmmaker Rick Boss. Listen, I'm gonna get in trouble one day for saying names wrong. And I don't know when I developed this habit, because I'm not like that. I thought I was actually always really good with names. I guess not. So, filmmaker Rick Boss. Yes, Rick Boss is his name. Thought it might be a good idea to capitalize off all the conspiracies that are going around about Tupac, because a lot of people, for some reason, or one reason or another, believe that he never actually died. They believe that he's still alive and he just escaped. Because when he was shot in 97, they took him to the hospital, and then he passed 5 days later. In this case, it's been going. We had like the documentary Unsolved. We had so many other documentaries. We had people writing books. We had people talking like on Flat TV, on all type of different platforms. Like everybody who felt the need to say something, or everybody who knew somebody that was in whatever capacity attached to anyone, attached to Pac or any of his people, felt the need to speak. And they recently raided the house in Nevada of Kev D, Keefe D, I think. Why do I say Kev D? I'm telling you, this is really not cool. So, and the conspiracies are somewhat like, oh, he ran off to Cuba, and he's there with his aunt, who also flew from prison in the 70s. She was an active member of the Black Panthers, yada, 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 like his mom. And Rick Boss thought, okay, you know what? If all of these people talk about this stuff, let me just make a movie telling the story of how it could have happened. So I guess in the story, he gets shot and he runs off to New Mexico. And then I don't know what the movie will say. I don't know if I'm even ever going to watch the movie, because I find these things very, very difficult. These people are real people. And I get it, when you're a public figure, people will talk about you whether you want to or not. I'm doing it right here, right now. And the case is 27 years old. Or 26 years old. I get that. But I'm just wondering sometimes if this is not a little bit insensitive to, especially when you make a movie about somebody not dying, somebody running off and living their best life while everybody else is mourning. Because even if you was to run off, I don't know how many family members you can really tell, because you can't trust people 100%. The less people know, the better. Like, that's why I always say to people, do not tell me anything incriminating. That's incriminating. Don't tell me anything crazy. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know. Because I don't want to be put in that predicament where I feel like, okay, I gotta shut up, or I have to, because I don't know, like, what do they always say? They say, I'm a law-obeying citizen. So I got to do the right thing, but that's a whole different story. So anywho, I'd like to know what y'all think. What y'all think? Do you think it's a good idea that somebody is actually capitalizing of other people's destinies and other people's tragedies? It's really difficult. I mean, they did a movie about Hitler being back and how Hitler would be in 2014. I think it was 2014 when they did that movie. I didn't watch it because to me, bro, I don't need to know what he would do now. He ain't here, and that's good. And I don't want to know how he would be these days or whatever, you know? And I feel like sometimes it's good to just leave things as they are. And also making money with somebody else's tragedy, somebody else's pain. I know that's the norm, but still, man, I got only tragedies going on. Of course, as a Moroccan, I gotta speak on the Moroccan earthquake of 6.8 magnitude that hit the country that last week. And this was so heavy. This was the heaviest in a century that ever hit Morocco. Countries, Spain and Portugal, they even felt it. They felt it throughout the countries and other cities. It's tragic. People losing houses, people losing family members. They having to really dig with their bare hands because they don't have tools to try and help their family member. I can't even fathom how these people feel. I see people losing their siblings, their mothers, their houses, their everything they ever owned, everything they ever had. And it's just insane, you know, and screw material stuff and all of that. But a lot of these people can't even afford a house. They can't afford to buy everything from scratch if they even ever made it out, and if they're even okay, because this is going to have an aftermath. And I know the country, everybody is engaged, everybody is helping. I love to see it. I love how everybody is donating. People are out there, donating pillows and blankets and clothes, and the interesting part is that I'm very, very happy about. Morocco decided to accept aid from the UAE, Spain, the UK, and the US, and they turned down France. And the Red Cross and Red Crescent, whatever, they criticized that decision because they said in such a circumstance, help should just be accepted from anybody and everywhere. I do agree with that sentiment to a certain degree. It's really hard to accept help from somebody who harmed you for centuries and profited of whatever that is that you have in your country for years, right? And it's still up to this day completely racist. Is like basically appropriated the whole continent. Yes, I don't know. I don't need your help, bro. Thank you very much. You did way worse to me than this earthquake for centuries, for decades. And no, I don't need your help. And I feel like this criticism is absolutely inappropriate because y'all can speak. Y'all were never colonized. So, talking in that sense is absolutely insane to me. So whatever, kudos to you, King. You did the right thing. Yes. And when I speak about Morocco, I have to speak about Libya. Libya, unfortunately, also experienced a huge storm. And that storm that storm caused two dams to collapse, because these dams were not really looked well after. They were not kept being like renewed, or whatever. I mean, Libya was thriving. Libya, when Gaddafi was around, it was popping. I know, like, people from Tunisia, Algeria, even Morocco, they used to go to Libya to buy stuff because they had like all the goods. They had good prices. People really loved that country, and then it just went downhill. And the storm that caused these dams to collapse, and caused the big flooding that happened, took the lives of 5,000 people, and they're still counting. Like, it's just crazy. Houses are being washed away. Everything is just like cars. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And I mean, Libya was also in the news. It was very controversy in the past years because they really mistreated a lot of sub-Saharan Africans. This is a whole different topic that actually needs to be talked on more in depth and detail, because this things that happen there and that people go through and still are going through is also inhumane and crazy. It's really interesting because when Gaddafi was there, nobody wanted to how do I say it. I don't think it took place like that. And then now it's just, bro, the past years we only have these kind of things. Like, I don't know. I really don't know, but it's absolutely sad. And I just would love to for you people to donate. Make sure, if you donate, donate to the right place where the things definitely go there, and not are in the wrong hands. Because I know, and I'm telling you, I know people, or I know of people. I don't know anyone who actually does that, but I know of people, because I witnessed this, who just start an NGO, non-profit, non-governmental non-governmental my God, organization, non-profit organization. And they do it to keep the money. They collect donations for several courses, but bro, they don't really hand out the goods. So if you donate, please make sure it goes to the right people. Do some research, find out where people what people do, and where whatever they have on their resumes, that kind of stuff. Ooh, yes. That is actually a lot. And I have a last story which I came across, and I thought I just need to share this because this is very interesting. This is kind of like a random fact, but it comes with a whole story. And the story is, we're talking about high heel shoes, y'all. Gosh. So the high heel shoe industry is like a $45 billion industry, approximately. And it's actually, most of the time, not only, but most of the time, women who wear the shoes. But originally, the high heel was invented in ancient Persia for men. Surprising, right? Men used to wear high heel shoes when they did horse riding, so that they could hold on to the horse much better, with the shoes, so they could lock in better on the saddles and all of that. And they're more steady on the horses when they go hunting or fighting or whatever that is that they're doing. And when you look at cowboy shoes these days, even the cowboy shoes also have a heel, and men wear cowboy shoes as well. Yeah, it's a matter. It's a taste thing. It's a taste thing. Yes. And high heels used to be a sign of power and strength and wealth, masculinity, all of that back then in ancient Persia. And of course, when the high heel arrived in the West, in Europe, they were like, nah, we like the idea, but we just gotta make it ours. How it always works. So what did they do? They changed it. They made it more feminine. And you won't believe it, but King Louis, the 14th, the vicious King Louis from France, he was one of the biggest high heel collectors out there. And he just loved high heels, and he was painted with high heels, and that trend went over to other countries, and then these kings and officials started being painted with high heels and all of that stuff. So it was really like a sign of power, wealth, masculinity, and all of that. And women started wearing high heel shoes in the 16th century. They started like changing and more masculizing their outfits in protest of men running things, men running the world. Women didn't want to deal with it anymore. They wanted to say so as well. So that's when they started, wearing suits, wearing pants, wearing these high heels and all of that. And soon the high heel went out of fashion. And once photography became a thing in the 19th century, the heel came back, and it was sexier, slimmer, not so bulky, and longer than ever. So it was just a different shapes, for women than for men. Men had more the bulky, short heel and more bulky shoe, which women do have these days as well, just saying. But back then it was more feminized. It was more a symbol for a symbol of sexuality, more like, oh my gosh, like it make the leg look longer and more attractive. So this is when it became really a thing, like the high heel shoe for women. I remember I used to wear high heels. Like I used to wear high heels every day. Like I have all phases. I had my baggy pants phase, then I had my high heel phase. And honestly, right now I wear high heels only sometimes, because to me, that is not a sign of sexy. That is not a sign of femininity. I feel like, I've been told before on my other podcast by a relationship coach that I had, that he felt I have a lot of masculine energy. And I was like, oh really? Why? I wear dresses and look at my jewelry and all, look at my hair. And he was like, oh no, it's not like that. He goes, my sister, she got long hair and she's so feminine looking, but it's more the attitude, and it's more how you talk, and I guess more being bossy and stuff. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, I never realized. But yeah, so of course the high heel is always a symbol of sexiness, but I feel like there's way more to sexiness than a high heel or a nice lipstick or a short dress or whatever. I feel like, the person is wearing the outfit and not the outfit is wearing the person, if you guys know what I mean. I feel like there's a way more to that, because I know I used to be friends with a girl, and we used to have the same dress. I look very different and she looks very different generally, but the way that when we put the dress on, when we both have the dress on, it's not just that we look different, but the dress also feels different. It's just a whole different picture altogether. What I want to say is your personality that is in the dress is obviously way louder than the dress most of the time, if you have a personality. If not, then well, then I'm sorry for you, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, so that's the story of the high heel. I thought I'm gonna share it because I find it really interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys also enjoyed today's content, and I'll see you next week with a brand new episode. See ya and peace.